In this video, I will show you how to implement SCD type 2. Uh, I have two tables. My source table is employee. It has four columns: employee ID, first name, email, and salary. And my target table called deem employee, and it has extra four columns: sequence ID, ETL transaction timestamp, ETL revision timestamp, and MD5. In order to implement SCD type 2, I have to have expression transformation. In the expression transformation, I will have three ports, output ports, ETL transaction timestamp, which will always be sysdate. So today's sysdate is this one. ETL revision timestamp, it will always be a future date. And source MD5, this is the concatenation value of my source table columns. Um, and MD5 function will create a hash key, and this is my hash key for the understanding. I just put a hash key, random hash key here. So first thing first, my target table is empty. I can see that. So normally we check it with the lookup table. So since my target table is empty, so I'm going to insert this record. And sequence ID I implemented in my target table. It's an auto-generated key. Um, so the moment a new row is inserted, it will automatically generate a ID for that row. So this is one. Now my ETL transaction is timestamp is this one. So I'm going to put this one, and ETL revision timestamp is going to be this one. I'm going to put this one here, and MD5 function, it creates this hash key value. So I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to put it over here. So now this data is inserted. Okay. So after 1 day later, this data has changed. So think about it. Put it over here. So my salary has changed. So this is my old data and this is my new data. My salary has changed. So this data has to be inserted here. So how does it insert in SCD type 2? So what's going to happen, because the salary has changed, it's not one anymore. So lookup table will check, and because of the MD5, source MD5 and the target table MD5, it will check the two values and it will compare. So let me show you. So this source MD5 will generate a new hash key. So for example, this is 222. So now this 222 and this one is not same. So now it knows that for this employee, something has changed. He doesn't know what changed, but something has changed. So what he's going to do, um, he's going to um, for this row, he's gonna update, and update part is gonna be like only this one. Only he's gonna update only this ETL revision timestamp. This is the active record right now. Whenever you see the future value, that means this is the active record. So this is the active record. Now this is going to be inactive because this one will be active record now. So this is, I want to make it inactive first. So how I do it? So only this value will change with the sysdate. So sysdate is this one. So I'm gonna ETL revision times. Okay, Control V. So now this is not anymore active record. Why? This is not a future date anymore. This is sysdate right now. So this record is inactive, and this one is going to be in my active record. So I'm going to insert this record now, and ETL transaction timestamp sysdate. So I will put just sysdate here, and ETL revision timestamp is always this one, right? So I'm going to put this one, and over here it created this new hash key. So I'm going to put this hash key here. Okay, ignore. So now, and it will automatically generate a new sequence ID. So 2. So out of these two records, one is active and one is inactive. Which one is active? The active record is this one. Why? Because this is the one came second and something has changed. Look at the value before my salary was 1, now the salary is 2. So for example, after 2 days later, another record, another this record has changed again. So let's see. Now it's 3 now, not anymore 2, 3. So, and the new hash key will be created for this. So new hash key, for example, 33333. So now my lookup will check with this record. Lookup always check with the active record, right? Lookup will say, okay, something has changed. The new hash key is this, and I have this. So something has changed. So I have to make this record inactive. This record, I have to make this one inactive. So how he gonna do it inactive? He's gonna put the sys date, just change this part. It's gonna be sys date is gonna be here. So now this is the sys date, and this record has to be inserted. And ETL transaction timestamp is sys date. So this is the sys date. And ETL revision timestamp is always this one, future date. And the new hash key is going to be this one. And there will be a new sequence ID 3. So out of these 3 records, 2 records are inactive. 2 records are inactive. Which 2 records are inactive? These 2 records are inactive. How? Because of the ETL revision timestamp is this. It's not future date. Is the sys date. So this is why these 2 records are inactive records. These 2 records are an inactive record, and this is active record. How do I know that this is active record? Look at this. This is the future date. So this is a active record. Now, after 1 day later, new record came, completely new record. Now, my lookup will see whether this record is already there or not. According to the lookup, this record is not exist because this is a new employee ID 200, and in my target table doesn't have 200. Employee ID 200 is not there. Since this record does not exist, so what it will do, it will insert this record, and the sys date is gonna be this one, and ETL revision timestamp is gonna be always future date, and hash key is gonna be this one. Okay, and it will create a new sequence ID 4. Okay, so now in this table I have 2 active records. Only these 2 are active record right now. These 2. Why? Because look at this ETL revision timestamp. This is future date. So that's why these 2 are active record right now. Let's implement the mapping right now. So my source is employee, I need expression transformation. I have to create 3 ports. Output field. Type is going to be date. I have to create this is also date. String, it has to be minimum 32, so I put 100. Okay, now this is going to be always sysdate. Validate. This is going to be it's a future date. Validate. And this is my MD5 function. So you can write MD5, concatenate everything. Validate. Okay. Save. Now I have to create a lookup transformation. Lookup right here. It's a connected lookup. Let's find the lookup object. My lookup object is going to be target table. It's in the staging. Single object. Dim EMP, I think. Here you go. This is one. Lookup condition. Resolve the field name conflict. So I'm going to use prefix, source. That's it. Okay. So I have to choose the lookup field, employee ID, source employee ID, and returning field. I don't want all of them. I want and only this. So I'm going to delete all the other rows, all of this. Yes. Okay. And I have to write a query, SQL override query, and then dash dash. This will improve the performance of the lookup cache. So I choose sequence ID, employee ID, and MD5. These 3 columns I choose from the lookup tables, nothing else. And I only want the active records from the lookup tables. And this is how my cache will be created. So this is done. Now I have to create a router transformation. This is my router transformation. Create 2 more groups. Let's configure it now. Choose advanced. Okay. I'm checking. I'm checking whether this sequence ID present in my target table. If it doesn't present, like a employee ID comes, and every employee ID there will be associated with one sequence ID. So now it will check in my target table this sequence ID exists or not. If it doesn't exist, that means it's a new record. Yeah, validate. Now this is done. Now this one, advance over here. And I'm checking with this MD5 is coming from the target table, and I'm comparing it, comparing with this MD5. This is coming from the source table. I'm comparing it. Okay, so what it's doing is saying, checking that is sequence ID exist or not. If it exists, then it is checking whether they have different value or not, whether the source value and target value has any changes. If there is any changes, then this condition will satisfy. So let's validate it. It's validated. Okay, now click OK. Now this is my target, right? I'm going to delete this one. I'm going to take it from the insert. My target is in staging. Single object, dim emp underscore e. Okay, dim emp. That's my target table. And this is going to be insert. So I'm not going to change anything here. So field mapping, this is what I have to do. I choose smart map. Okay, now this is going to be a new sequence ID. I know that in my target table automatically creates a sequence ID for new row. So I don't have to map it here. This is going to be like this. Now employee ID, employee ID. This employee ID comes from the target table. I don't want that. I want it comes from the source table. So source employee ID. There you go. This is the one. I want this one to be here. And source first name, source email, source salary, ETL transaction timestamp right here. Okay, ETL revision timestamp right here. That this is coming from the expression. Remember, we created the expression. And MD5. This MD5 is actually from the target table. I don't want the target table. This is a new record, so I want it coming from the this one. So I have to unmap this one first. Map, bring it over here, and save it. Yep, it's validated. Now I did only insert. I have to do upsert logic now. So let's copy this one. Copy target table again. Copy, paste it. Do it one more time. Paste it. So I have two more tables now. Same target tables. Okay. So upsert. I'm gonna take this one over here, and this one. Sorry. And this one over here. Okay. So this one is gonna be just update. Date. Over here, I have to make sure that this is selected, upsert, update, or insert, and you have to mention which column you are doing update and insert. Sequence ID, sequence ID. Target fields. These are my target fields. Incoming fields. I don't want all the fields. I want only. I'm going to create a rules first. Let's fill rules plus sign. Now this is going to be excluding. Exclude. What fields you want to exclude? Okay. Let's select all. Whatever is check mark, it will be excluded. So now all of them are check marks. So I don't want that. I want to have only two rows, two ports. Sorry. Which one? Okay. I want this one, and I want ETL transaction timestamp. Remember, ETL transaction timestamp is always sysdate. So I want this too. So get the sequence ID, and this one is sysdate. And I'm gonna, because I'm updating ETL revision timestamp, I'm gonna make it old. So that's why I want to put it over here. Not ETL transaction timestamp. You want to put it ETL revision timestamp because you want to change this date to revision sysdate. And that's it. Save. And for this one, you just leave it as it is. Insert. Field mapping. Let's go field mapping. So sequence ID is going to create new sequence ID automatically. So I'm not going to do anything. This is fine. This looks good. Email, source, transaction. Everything looks good here. So I'm just going to hit save. All right. And then run. Let's see if it works or not. Okay. All the records are inserted. Now I'm going to run it again one more time. See what it does. Run again. Zero record updated because I did not update anything. So that's why it did not insert or update any record. Now I'm going to update one record in my source table. Okay. The salary is 100. So I'm going to make it $1. Restart. You will see two row updated. Yep, two rows updated. Now let's go to the dim table. Okay. So one is active record, other one is inactive record. The first one is inactive record. The employee ID at 100, salary was 100 at the beginning, and later on I changed it to $1. And that this is the current active record. So everything is working perfectly. Now if I run it again, it will not update anything. So this is it. Thank you very much for watching the video.